Welcome to the Operation Game Night podcast, and welcome to Master Sunday. Today, we're talking crits and tricks, a new trick taker from Inside Up Games. But first, let me introduce my caddy on this Master Sunday, the man that I choose to help me choose my clubs, Clayton Gable. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing good, Travis. I didn't know you were a golf fan until today.
I mean, yeah. Like, who's not a golf fan on Masters Sunday?
Me. I am not a golf fan. As your caddy, I can assure you I'm not a golf fan.
You couldn't help me choose the right club from like 186 yards out?
No, it's always a pitch and wedge for me. That's the only club I can hit.
I like that.
I don't know why.
That's versatile though.
Yeah, it's good for driving. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Master Sunday just wrapped, and Rory McIlroy brought home the green jacket, and he is only the fourth player to do so back to back. So he won last year, won this year. Congratulations to Rory. I know he listens to the podcast. So Rory, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for supporting. But I do have a quick order of merit before we get into order of merit. A quick update.
Point of order?
Point of order of merit.
Yes. Tell me.
This point of order warrants some merit. We put out a call last week for supporters for the show. And we said, hey, if you're interested in supporting, you can go onto Buzzsprout and click the little money symbol up in the corner and pitch us some money. We have a new supporter, and it is Miss Amanda Lee of Empty Nest Board Mama fame. So, Amanda, thank you for supporting the show. You are the best. You are the real one. Our very first fan, and we really appreciate you. Hit me up on Instagram, and I will send you a t-shirt. Very exclusive. Yes. Operation Game Night t-shirt. It is well overdue. I owe you one, plus some OG and stickers. So hit me up on Instagram, and we will work that out. But let's get into crits and tricks. Clay, what do you know about this game?
I know I just got done playing it on Board Game Arena with our boy Mike.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I did not know it was on there yet.
Yeah, he put it out in our Discord. Shout out to our Discord, asking if anybody wanted to play crits and tricks, and I was the only one that said yes.
Oh,
so
man.
Him and I fired off a little 2-player game of it. Honestly, didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes I just hate myself because I just think, hey, I'm just going to click let's play and I'll just figure it out as I go. But then slowly but surely, I just keep clicking through. And I'm like, one of these times I'm going to hit that how to play button and actually understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I got the general gist of it. It seemed as if there was a set of dice that associated the cards I had. So it was like the cards were kind of the suits.
Yep.
And then the dice were, I could take a die and make that the value of the card, which I liked that concept a lot. And I was like, this is really cool. I think I'm doing it. But then there was like other things going on with objectives that you were trying to complete. Why don't you just tell us exactly what's going on with this game instead of somebody that didn't actually know how to play?
That's okay. First off, Clay, you should never hate yourself and never hate yourself for trying new things. Second off, if you are listening to this podcast and you want to get it on the Discord, there's links in the show notes, and come join and chat board games with us. We have BJ battles that are constantly being set up. You can pitch us ideas for the podcast. Just come and engage. We have the best fans in the world there on the Discord. Thank you to all who are members. Second off, we heard about crits and tricks from none other than Paul Solomon back in the day. He showed up maybe a year ago plus on the podcast and talked to us about a bunch of new upcoming games, and crits and tricks was one of them. This is a new game from Inside Up Games. Designer is Pete Wissinger, who has credits on Origin Story. Yeah. And he is also known for No Loose Ends, another one of our favorite trick takers.
Whoa, he helped design that? I thought that was like Taiki Shinzawa or one of those games.
He's got development credit through Gamehead Games.
Okay, nice.
So that one and Trick to the Future, the one that I'm very much looking forward to. But he designed Origin Story and Crits and Tricks.
Yeah, he also is a host on the what's that? Decision Space podcast.
One of our favorites.
Yes, for sure.
So this game, up front, I had a hard time separating my new appreciation for Dungeons and Dragons from the mechanics of this game. This game is a trick taker where the suit of your cards are different classes that you would play in a Dungeons and Dragons. There's rogues, barbarians, wizards, paladins, druids, and the trump suit, which will always be in your deck, which is bards. I don't know why bards are the trick suit, but they are the trump suit, but they are the trump suit every time. So bards are always shuffled in, and then you pick 3 other classes to shuffle into the main deck that gets distributed amongst the players. Each player has a little screen that sits in front of them, behind which you roll all of your D&D dice, basically. You have a D4 all the way up through a D20, and when you start to play tricks, you are playing the card, which is the suit, and then you play any of your dice that you have behind your screen as a value to that card. And that is kind of how you assign the values to these different suits. You have the opportunity, what I would equate to like a saving throw in Dungeons and Dragons, where if I put a trick out, or let's say I really need to win this trick, and I put the suit out that matches, I can re-roll the die behind my screen, my player screen. I can re-roll it out in front of everyone as kind of a saving throw to try and get a higher number to win, or a lower number, because each of the classes that you are playing as suits have different requirements to win that trick. That's kind of where the complication gets in. I was constantly referring back to my like screen because all of the win conditions are like printed on the backside of your screen. Super convenient. So for the rogue, value equal to or closest to 5 that wins the trick, because they're all about balance. The paladin has the highest value and matches the lead die size. So like if the lead person puts out a D6 with a 2 value, I have to have a D6 with a higher value than that to win. The druid wants the second highest value out of all of the dice that are put out. And then the bard is the trump suit, and the win condition matches that of the suit declared by the lead player. So the bard is kind of a wild, it can always be thrown down. The lead person throws down the bard and says, we're going for wizards now, and you have to match the wizard's win condition. All makes sense so far, Clay.
It all makes sense. I definitely was not tracking the different suit requirements. But I was there with you to the point where I had a suit and then could play a die to be the value. Awesome. So this is good. This is good. I'm learning.
Okay. So now at the start of each round, you're dealt 8 of these cards that have varying classes, your suits, and there's only 6 tricks per round. So what do you do with those other 2? You can use those as your crits in these not combat, but these tricks that you're playing. And each class has a different crit that it can do. Basically a special thing that will like change the value of your die, or, you know, do different things to the condition of the trick that you're playing. You can play those at any time in any trick. You can play both of your 2 crits in the same trick if you want. So it gets kind of crazy when people start throwing crits all over the place. But it's kind of a way to like switch up individual tricks in each round to play these crits and tricks. And the crit will change the condition of that trick. So kind of cool. I would have to flip through. So the crit for the wizard is to transmute. You can swap your current die with one of the previous played dice. Your bard is improvise. You may re-roll your current die up to 2 times, but you must keep the result of your final roll. Paladin is defend. If your die's value is tied for the winning trick, you win and do not move on to tiebreakers. The rogue can sneak. Skip your turn to become last in the turn order. The play resumes with the player on your left if you've already... Anyways. And then barbarian is rage. Physically increase or decrease your current die's value by 1, 2, or 3. And the druid does entangle and force an opponent who has already resolved their turn this trick to re-roll their die once. They must keep the new result. So things get a little crazy when you start throwing crits down. All of this is in service of winning challenges and quests. So each player is dealt 3 quests at the beginning. I know that you're playing 2-player. It might have been different. When you play a 2-player game, a bunch of quests are kind of like located centrally, and you're playing for those quests that are shared amongst the players. When you're playing 3 or 4 players, each player is dealt 3 quests that they are trying to achieve on their own. And then there's a barkeeper's challenge, which there's like a select number of them out there. They're central. They like everyone's trying to win that barkeeper's challenge per round. There's 3 rounds total, 6 tricks per round. And then you kind of resolve all of your loot, which is like these cool little doubloons and fun shaped like loot pieces, like swords and helmets and goblets and all sorts of stuff that are kind of in the middle of the table. And then the person with the most gold at the end wins. You with me so far?
What? Can you circle back to the loot situation again? What is this?
So you win the loot by completing quests and challenges. Okay. Challenges resolve at the end of every round. Your quests can resolve at any time during the rounds. So as soon as you meet the conditions for one of your quests, you complete it, you claim the loot from the center of the table, and then you can discard that quest or like put it aside. And then between rounds, you're dealt 3 new quests to complete.
Gotcha. This is cool.
It's pretty cool. And it really subverts expectations for trick taking. I want to talk about the production value here on this game for a second, because this thing is beautiful. It has this nice like inlaid board. It's nice and shiny on the outside. It looks like a book on the bookshelf, and it's got volume 1 of 3. This is the fancy Kickstarter edition. Okay. Inside Up did a great job on this. It's got a little magnet that closes it. It looks like a big old dusty tome that sits on your shelf. Each of the other games in this Inside Up run, the Kickstarter editions all look like this. Volumes 1, 2, and 3. They're different colors. The other ones are green and blue. It's really nicely done. The production's super nice. I will say, though, whatever glue they used on this run of games is the smelliest glue I have ever seen used on a board game production. It is like you open this box and it is potent. Like this box kind of stinks, honestly.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's very strong. It smells like super glue, but like, I don't know. Or like PVC glue almost. It smells like PVC glue.
What is that?
Like the stuff that you use on PVC pipes, the blue stuff that you use to glue.
I'm not an engineer like you.
That's okay.
Jared. I don't glue PVC pipes.
So the blue goo that you put on the outside of PVC pipes to stick them together permanently, like melts the PVC so that they stick together permanently. Anyways, it smells like that. It's very strong. Opening the box, you get a whiff of it immediately. It's very strong. And also, their shipping company that they used to fulfill this Kickstarter kind of messed up a little bit. They sent out an email to all the backers that said, hey, you might have gotten version of one of the games that was not the Kickstarter edition. I was in that case. They are going to send me a return slip so I can turn the old version in, or the retail version back to them. I'll get the Kickstarter version back. So yeah, they had some production issues, but the final production looks really nice. I love this book. I'll put them on a bookshelf. They look super nice with the spines all lined up in different colors and all shiny and everything. Dude. This game is cool. I really like this game. It's kind of hard for me to separate my appreciation for this game from my newfound appreciation for Dungeons and Dragons. They're obviously going for that connection. Like even the font that they used on the cover of the game is kind of that Dungeons and Dragons type font. Yeah. They did everything short of like making the and symbol a dragon, the ampersand. But man, I really like this game. This is cool. I will continue to play this. I like rolling the die. I think the coolest thing one of the coolest things that they did was on the first round. How do you choose who leads the first suit? Any guesses?
I don't know.
Roll for initiative.
No, of course you do.
Roll for initiative. So everybody rolls for initiative. Whoever rolls the highest gets to play the first card in the first round's trick. After that, in the future rounds, it's based on gold value, or like the amount of loot that you have accrued.
How many people did you play this with?
So I did not play it probably the preferred way, which would be like 3 or 4. So it's best at 3 on Board Game Geek. I played it at 2, and then they have a solo mode. Solo mode just feels like you're assigning dice and you're trying to like get the highest amount of loot possible. complete as many quests as you can through randomized dice rolls. Probably not the preferred way to play. 2 felt okay because you have the common quests that you're all kind of competing for, and it feels like a race to like, I really want that one because it's worth the most amount of gold. So you're kind of prioritizing what cards you play based on the quests that are available. Solo mode, you have quests that you're burning through. Feels okay, but it's just so random to like roll dice against yourself. And then they have like a score, like, compare your score to this table and see where you land. But the preferred way to play would be 3 or 4. Rules change slightly between 3 and 4 and 2, and then slightly again for a solo experience.
Okay. Yeah. It's hard for me with a 2-player. Like, I mean, I feel like trick taking is so unique that the player count really does matter a lot. And I find that the 2 games that are specifically designed to be 2-player trick taker games are great. But ones that just have like ways to kind of work around it and play a game at 2 players, those are usually a miss for me, because just like some of those interactions that you described, I just don't see how they could be that dynamic in a 2-player game. But I would be willing to give it a try at 2 players, but I definitely think you're right. I would get it to play at 3 or 4 for sure.
Well, now that you know how to play, we should get this going on BGA with some of the people on the Discord, because missed I think I saw the initial invite and I wanted to hold off until I got to play like my hard copy version that was coming in the mail. Now I know how to play. I'm in. Let's do it. Let's run it. If you're into 2-player trick takers, they do have Tug of Roar in this kind of Kickstarter run. I will brief that at a later date once I've played it a couple more times. It's like a lane card battler tug of war type situation where you're like competing for initiative and you can like scare your opponent enough to like earn favor in these different lanes. Pretty cool. I'll talk about that later though.
Okay.
After I've played it a couple more times. But yeah, crits and tricks. Paul Solomon hyped it up when he came on the podcast a year plus ago, and it did not disappoint. I was so looking forward to this one. We love trick takers here at OGN, and this is another hit. This one's going to stick around for a while, mainly because it looks nice, but also like the mechanics are cool. I have a newfound appreciation for Dungeons and Dragons classes and what they can do, and they tried to pack as much of that flavor into this game as they could without probably like stepping on proprietary information. But yeah, Crits and Tricks by Inside Up Games has been a hit for me. I like it.
I'm glad you like it. That's good to hear, because it doesn't take a lot to get me to press the buy now button on a trick taking game. And I too have that newfound love for the Dungeons and Dragons world. So yeah, this will be coming my way soon, I'm sure. And that is a novel thing. I think maybe Nikosu Dice does something similar.
Okay.
Where you have that combination of playing a card for its suit and then a die for its value. Yeah. But I've never played that. I've just heard people talk about it, and I always thought that sounded so cool. And the fact that this game, you have like the D&D set of die that, you have you get like a D4 through D20, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. Thanks for sharing, Travis.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Another cool thing, like one of the decisions that you make is what die to use for each trick. Like you can use any die. Any player can use any die that they want. But the tiebreaker, like let's say you both roll 4s or whatever, the larger of the die will win the trick. So it's like really you got to think about how you're gonna use your die appropriately and how you're going to allocate them to give you the best chance to win those quests. So it's not just like, how do I win this trick right now? It's like, do I need this larger die later on to complete that quest or this quest or the challenge in the center? I dig it. It's got some cool other decisions that you're making that are not like, what card do I have available to me right now to win? So
yeah,
I dig it. I'm going to play it a lot. I think we should get a game going with our D&D party.
Yes.
Maybe Amanda and Meg will be in.
Let's fire it up.
Heck yeah. Did we do it?
We did it.
All right. This has been Crits and Tricks from Inside Up Games. Thank you, Pete Wissinger. I really appreciate your design. It's great.
Good work.
All right. I have been Travis. He has been my party mate / caddy, Clayton Gable. This has been Operation Game Night, and we are out.